Before we dive into this tale, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single chapter. I've never told anyone this story, but some nights, when the house is too quiet and the shadows stretch a little too long, I think about it. I was 11 years old when I first met the boogeyman. He wasn't what you'd think. Not the cartoonish figure parents used to scare kids into behaving. No, he was real. And he wasn't hiding under the bed. He was waiting in the dark. It started when my parents left me alone for the first time. Just one evening. They said they'd be back before midnight. I pretended to be brave, but the second they shut the door, the house felt different. Too big. Too quiet. I tried to distract myself, watch TV until the glowing screen hurt my eyes. Around 10 p.m., the house seemed to exhale, and all the lights flickered. Just for a second. I froze, staring at the bulb in the ceiling as it buzzed, trying to convince myself it was nothing. But then I heard it. A faint scratching, like fingernails on wood. It was coming from the corner of the living room, where the light didn't quite reach. At first, I thought it was a mouse, or maybe a tree branch against the window. I crept closer, my bare feet sticking to the cold wooden floor. "Who's there?" I whispered. The scratching stopped, and then I saw it. Two glowing yellow eyes blinked open, high up near the ceiling, where no eyes should have been. They were wrong, too large, too bright, and they didn't just look at me. They pierced me, like they were peeling back my skin and staring straight into my soul. I stumbled back, tripping over the coffee table, and landed hard. That's when I saw it fully. A black shape, impossibly tall, folding out of the shadows like a spider uncurling its legs. Its limbs were too long, its hands ending in sharp, curved claws. But the worst part was its grin, wide and jagged, full of teeth that seemed to shimmer like glass. "Why are you alone, little one?" It didn't speak with a mouth. The words slithered into my head like an oil slick. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. The thing tilted its head, almost amused, as it stepped closer. Its footsteps didn't make a sound, but I could feel them, heavy, shaking the ground beneath me. "Do you know what happens to children who stay up late?" It hissed. I scrambled backward, my hand closing around the remote on the floor. Without thinking, I hurled it at the thing. It passed right through, hitting the wall with a dull thud. It laughed, a low, guttural sound that made my ears ring. It was right in front of me now, crouching so close I could feel the cold radiating off its body. Its grin stretched wider, impossibly so, until its mouth was inches from my face. "I like it when they run," it whispered. Something snapped inside me, and I bolted. I ran up the stairs, my feet barely touching the ground. I could hear it behind me, not running, just following. Slowly, deliberately. Its claws scratched against the walls as it climbed. I slammed the door to my bedroom and locked it, pressing my back against the wood. My chest heaved as I listened. Silence. Then, a single knock, and another, and another. It wasn't in a hurry. It had all the time in the world. I didn't know what to do. I crawled under my bed, clutching the baseball bat I kept there. The knocking stopped, but the breathing started, deep, rasping breaths, right outside the door. Then, the handle began to turn. Slowly, agonizingly slow. I don't remember much after that. Just a flash of yellow eyes under the door, and a voice whispering, "You'll come back to me, little one. They always do." When my parents came home, I was huddled under the bed, clutching the bat so tightly my hands were bleeding. They didn't believe me, of course. Said it was a nightmare. But I know better. Even now, I see him sometimes, in the corner of the room, just watching, waiting. And every night when I turn off the lights, I wonder if tonight will be the night he stops waiting.